You get tired of the negative ads and the dishing of the dirt and the extremes that people go to, especially in talk radio and stuff, to really make the other guy seem like the worst person in the universe. Our elections today are very tame. If you'd been here in 1800, you would have seen the dirtiest election ever. John Adams was the sitting president. He was a Federalist. Thomas Jefferson was the sitting vice president, and he was a member of what was called the Republican Party. Now, it's not the same party as today's Republican Party. In fact, it's a precursor of today's Democratic Party. And these two parties were going at it head to head with no holds barred, virtually no rules. They said whatever they cared about. Because you see, the media in 1800 was by definition biased. There was no such thing as an independent viewpoint. You either were a Federalist paper or you were a Republican paper. Your job was to dish as much dirt on the other guy as possible. And in fact, most of the candidates and politicians of the day wrote under pseudonyms in these papers. They were very much the same sort of issues that we face today. There was a big difference between the North and the South. The North was much more commercial. It was the seat of the beginnings of what is now Wall Street. The South, much more agricultural. Thomas Jefferson often complained about the Northerners as being what he called stock jobbers. This was as dirty a thing as he could say about the guys that today we would call the Wall Street guys. The Wall Street guys, on the other hand, thought that essentially Jefferson was what they would call a Jacobin because of his support of the French Revolution, and their notion was that he was not only out to destroy government, but religion and anything, private property and anything else he could get his hands on. Essentially a socialist or an anarchist. They had no need to dig up the facts. They simply made things up as they went along. They would call poor old John Adams a monarchist. He had suggested that we should have a fancy title for the president. The Senate rejected this and then began to call him your rotundness. So what can we learn from this? That lessons we should draw today? And I would say that leaders have to look around and demand better. Whether you are the sponsor of a TV show or a radio show, or simply a consumer, a listener, demand real reporting. Demand better information. Demand some fact-checking. Demand true coverage of all of the issues. Dig deeper. Find out what's really going on. Do the fact-checking. Don't keep circulating the same tired old rumors. Ask people of what their fact-based ideas are, not just their opinions. And finally, make your decisions ethically. We all tend to accept some things and not others without really filtering it. And this is a trap, especially for leaders. We have to understand what our own biases are and try to step outside them. Tell the truth. You don't have to trash the opposition and make up stories about them to differentiate your position from theirs. And this is true in business as well as in politics. Simply tell the truth. Here are the facts. Here's what they mean.